folks. Just give us just a minute to get set up. There we go. Check one more thing and then we'll get started. All right, it's going through. Wow, I cannot believe it. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Small Town Underground, Kingdom Lum Small Town here. And as you can see, I have on the great Dr. Kandiss Taylor on this Saturday night. We will waste no time in getting started this evening. It's a miracle that everything is working. And we are running live on Rumble and on YouTube and Facebook. And so far, everything seems to be going very smoothly. So I'm just going to jump right in. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm doing great, Roy. Thank you for having me. It's a miracle we're on YouTube, actually. That's the miracle.
I tell you, this streaming software is incredible to try to get everything to work right. It's amazing that we can even do this, but it's literally like living on a prayer, trying to get all this done together. So, thank you so much for joining us tonight. So, wanted to do this, running a little behind this week because I've been sick and just getting over whatever the flu, the bug, all this stuff is, and really wanted to kind of just share some information here that we I think we all need to know as Georgians, as people fighting as patriots, and Kandiss, if just kind of recap my audience about what you're doing in Georgia, what position that you're doing, because we did have a really important state convention meeting this past week, and I kind of want to bring people up to speed. So take it away.
Sure. So, people have told me on the executive team that probably aren't a patriot like us. They're probably more establishment. They said, you can't take off hats. Like you're the first district chairman all the time. And I'm like, nope. Mm-mm. I'm Kandiss Taylor, and I love Jesus, and I'm the wife of Ryan, and I'm the mother of 3 children. That's who I am. And I built a platform running for office two statewide races. And what's interesting is I have a platform that God gave me, and I use it for His glory. There's all these people who want to get their voice out, and they want to be heard, and they want to be relevant. And they even tell lies about the party. Lord knows the party's got enough issues without lies being told. And those people don't have a platform, or their platform's very small. And so if you attack me and you attack my volunteers and the people I love, I'm going to come for you. Like that's going to happen.
Right.
And I don't lie. I have no reason to lie. Nobody owns me. I'm a private citizen. I work in public education. I'm middle class. Like I've turned down bribes. Carrie Lake came out this week and said she'd been bribed. I thought, sister, that's happened to me 3 times. I just didn't report people and expose them. But that I have witnesses that heard them offer me money 3 different times.
Wow.
So it's like people can't separate the two roles, but I can.
Right.
So I'm here tonight as your friend, Roy. But I'll be happy to speak about the meeting last weekend when I was acting as first district chair.
Well,
but I am 2 different roles. And so
before
people call me the grassroots ninja. I feel like I take what the grassroots say and I take it into the GOP and I advocate for them. And I advocate for my first district and what they want, which the majority of them are patriots, just like we are.
Sure.
And so that's what I'm here for, because it's unpaid. You don't get paid to do it.
Yeah, people forget it's volunteer.
It was that important of a position. I really didn't, Roy, when I got in here. But then I realized it is very important, and you have a lot of power in these positions in the GOP, and the GOP has a lot of power in politics in Georgia.
Sure. I really, a couple things that you hit on there. A lot of people forget that this is volunteer. People are just volunteering their time and their effort to try to make things better when you bring up the grassroots. And you also brought up something else about, and very relevant to the media this week, that the exposure that Carrie Lake has released into the world about her being bribed from the folks back east about name your price. We want you out of the way. We want somebody else in here, and we're willing to pay you whatever it is to get you out of the way. I mean, it was astounding to listen to that audio. And obviously, you know all about it because I'm sure this has happened to you. So,
Yeah, it happened when I ran for Senate, it happened when I ran for governor. It actually happened when I got this first district seat, which was laughable to me. This guy, I think he's a billionaire, he's a multimillionaire billionaire, called me and he said, "How much will it take for you to shut your mouth and go away and not be in politics anymore? $1 million? Like, how much will it take?"
wow.
Exactly what he said.
That's wild, man. That's wild. I mean, and that just is just another sign of the times and people that don't believe that there's this dark money and these dark forces at work that want to control everything, and they especially want to shut up the grassroots movements, right? And it is astounding to me because when I think of the grassroots movements, I associate it with just like freedom, the Constitution, transparency, accountability, all of these things that would make the government run in for the people, by the people, and do right. And it's like people want to fight against that or make fun of it or try to silence people. It's insane to me what kind of world we're living in.
And Roy, what's even worse, like we expect it from the Democrats, we expect it from the establishment, fake Republicans. I expect it from them. I
Hmm.
expose them daily. I expect it. What you don't expect are the wolves in sheep's clothing. And that's a real thing. People are infiltrating the grassroots. Not only are they infiltrating our party, they're infiltrating the grassroots and they act like they're commoners. They come in, it's like me and you. We're the commoners, Roy, in case you didn't know me and you. And they come in into our groups and they're like, "Oh, the GOP really isn't legitimate.
Right.
And I have a little Substack and I'm going to write an article on this. And I have a little talk show and I'm going to talk about this." Like, what do they think they're going to accomplish if they tear apart the GOP?
I don't
Literally.
know. I don't know.
Because grassroots have taken over the GOP. In case y'all didn't know, the last convention, we took over the whole delegation.
Right.
We took over the whole executive committee. We took over every district, but maybe 3 in the whole state with Patriots.
Right.
So who do you think you're tearing down if Donald Trump doesn't have a party to go in Georgia and qualify under?
Sure. Agreed. It seems like we're getting opposition from all levels, and it's funny. Again, you mentioned the same thing when I first got into this. Of course, you remember we've known each other for a few years, and we were in the Second Amendment movement, and I've kind of moved over into this. And a lot of
We're
people,
still in that Second Amendment movement.
well, of
We're still there,
course,
Roy.
100%. In fact, I've got way more rigid than I was before. But the thing about it is you come in expecting to expose like liberal lunacy and the Democrats, but really the majority of the fighting is infighting in the Republicans between these establishment, like uniparty system of politics versus people like us that are just coming in and being like, hey, this cannot stand, man. Like we've got to figure this out, and that's what we're fighting more than ever. So
Mhm.
there, of course, there's going to be opposition. There's going to be all kinds of factions that are trying to pierce that because I don't think that the establishment uniparty ever thought that grassroots would make it this far, or volunteers like you and myself and other people would just give up and stop. I guess.
And Roy, don't get me wrong, people don't trust. Like in the our state committee meeting last weekend on Saturday, this was not an executive session, so I can say this. They several times, I think I counted 4 times that different people said, "Well, we don't trust." Well, I don't trust that. Trust was said 4 times. I remember it could have been more. And I thought, that's the problem. We don't trust people. So there are good people that are believing liars and people who are really Democrats in disguise, or they are paid operatives, or whatever they are, to destroy the grassroots because they knew during my governor campaign when I had 60,000 volunteers and got 41,000, something's bad off. And it exposed that corruption. They knew there is a rumbling of people. These people are coming together and they are going to take over the party, not only the party, but they're over every elected office because they're not going to stop because they're on right now and they are willing to serve and they're willing to go to battle. They know we're going to lose our friend.
Right.
And so that scares them so bad that they're sending people in to infiltrate, and there's good, innocent people who are buying the lie, hook, line, and sinker,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
they're going to put their name because they're getting associated with these kids.
Sure. And they keep putting it seemed like they keep putting the pressure on and putting the pressure on until people are just ready to wash their hands of it. Because I mean, I'm one of those people that it would be so much easier to just click the X button, turn this off, and then go back home and start working on my Jeep again and forget about all this stuff, right? But I think that's the point. That's what they want. That's what a lot of people want is for us to just pack up and go home and say, "Don't worry about it." I mean, that's what we were told for 2 decades or more in this state was, "Don't worry about our politics. We've got this. We're holding the line. You don't have to worry about this." And then, now, here we are. We're watching every single facet of everything that's going on, these omnibus bills, all of this legislation. In fact, we're going to talk a little bit about some that is just like, how on earth do these people think after we're paying attention that they can pass something like this? I mean, it is insane, and we've got them really scrambling, really, and
They
it's
are scrambling, Roy. Let me tell you what happened. I came out and I said, who wants to run for office? If you're willing to primary somebody, reach out. I had over 100 people email me, text me, message me, call me, tell me I'm interested
mm,
for seats all over the state. And for 2 weeks, I had senators and House members call me. The majority of them I've never talked to, don't know how to get my phone number. And they were like, "Are you primarying me? Like, what is going on?" Because they got concerned.
mhm.
And don't be concerned about me. It's not me. It is the people. The people want to be represented. And either they're going to go to Atlanta and they're going to represent us, or they're going to go to their county commissioner's room, or their school board room, or their city council room, or their sheriff's office, and they're going to represent the people, or they're going to be primary. And
Sure.
so we're seeing them in the Capitol do things that we've asked them to do now for 4 years, and they're all of a sudden getting it together.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I don't take credit for that. I'm telling you, it's the people, it's the pressure, it's the attending the Capitol events and going up there and sending the emails and making the calls and going and knocking on their door and stopping them at work and saying, listen, we want paper ballots and marked. We won't trust the machines. We don't want the QR code. We don't trust this. We want Fannie Willis held accountable. This is a witch hunt on our president. We're tired of it. And we support
Absolutely.
Colton Moore. And why did you pull him out of the caucus? That was not
Oh
representative
yeah.
of the people.
Hmm.
And you better apologize publicly because guess what? You just formed a Senate committee because he told you this months ago, and now you're trying to follow in line. Well, Colton is owed a public apology
Right. Not
from
only
the
that,
legislation in Georgia.
and he's not been reinstated yet either.
No.
I mean, what is going on here? He's been vindicated time and time again, and he's still not being reinstated. It's insane.
You know what it is? It's arrogance. And
Sure.
the Bible says that God gives grace to the humble. He makes the first last and the last first. Humility. He resists the proud. These men have got to humble themselves. There's nothing more attractive. There's nothing more alpha male than someone saying, you know what? I was wrong. This is the right thing.
Right.
And I'm going to repent. You don't got to say I'm sorry. I'm repenting from that way of thinking, and I'm going to do the right thing for the people.
Right.
That will
Absolutely.
get you back in your seat, guys, if you listen to this. Do the right thing.
Do the right thing. That's all anybody's asking. That's what's so crazy, Candace, about all of this is that nobody that's fighting for election integrity is fighting for a Republican to win. Every single person that's fighting for election integrity is fighting for transparency and one of the most sacred, institutional things that we do as an American, and we just want to be able to look on the other side and say, okay. That's what's so crazy about this. All we're asking is for people to do the right thing and quit screwing around.
Because we have the small little portion that are Democrats, and we have a small little portion who are establishment Republicans, and then we have we the people.
Yep.
And we the people, we're the ones that work and pay taxes and raise our family and pray to Jesus, and we're the ones that love America, and we're the patriots. And there's way more of us than there are of them. MAGA's not going away. President Trump is the leader of MAGA right now, but we the people are the ones that created MAGA.
Right.
We're the ones, and we're not going away. And it
Gotcha.
doesn't matter. Yes, we're going to elect Trump again.
Oh
He
yeah.
won the last 2 times.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna elect him again. Don't get me wrong, and I'm, 100% love him and glad and thankful he's running a huge sacrifice. You're sacrificing, I'm sacrificing. Look at what this man is sacrificing. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need to do this.
Yeah,
He can go
$83 million. He's having to pay $83 million in another civil suit. I mean, don't
he
even
better not pay that
no,
trashy woman a
no.
dime.
Amen. That's ridiculous.
He better
Uh,
not.
well, and at
He
the
doesn't
very
deserve
least,
he doesn't deserve to wash his feet.
no, and at the very least, about Dominion and the debacle that this state is in, the horrible election debacle. Regardless, at the end, I think they know that they're not going to be able to do what they were able to do in 2020 and 2022.
They
Way too
know
many
it.
people are watching, way too many eyes. There will be no more poll stations shut down and cardboard up on the windows. Nobody's going to leave their stations, and they know. They know that whatever they do, it's going to be watched to a T, you know.
They know we're counting that paper.
You
They
dang
know we'll
right.
do affidavits. They know. And they know that the judicial system's crumbling too, because
Yes.
all that there's just falling apart there.
Yes.
Even that yesterday, the Supreme Court didn't uphold that rule, and that's ludicrous.
I know.
$83 million is ludicrous.
It is. The Fonnie Willis, it is all ludicrous what's going on, and the new revelations coming about how she spent her money with her boyfriend, all of these things, and now they're trying to cover it up and hide it. We need more. We need our legislation in this state completely behind this effort to remove her, because obviously we know that there's a faction, a rather large faction, it looks like, of people who don't want to support Donald Trump in this state. Whether they might publicly say so and behind closed doors, I think they're really, really scared, and not to name names. But am I wrong about that? I mean, this.
Well, I'll tell you as far as the GOP goes, the misinformation that's coming out that it looks like we're not unified or it looks like we're not together. The Georgia Republican Party is very healthy, very. And, I can't speak for Chairman McCain, and I don't want to do that, but I will tell you that he's never lied to me, never. In fact, I've heard him tell people that came to him that want to get rid of people on the executive committee, no, we've got to be unified. We cannot be distracted. Our number one goal is to get a Republican in the White House. Our
Sure.
number two goal is to make sure we raise enough money to keep our electors out of prison.
Right.
And so that is his goal. And anything outside of that, he doesn't want to deal with it. And it's been one attack after another after another. The enemy is the author of chaos. The
True.
enemy always comes to divide and conquer.
Well.
And so when you see that chaos and people being played and all the angles and all the dissension, you know that it's not God.
Sure. Um.
And Roy, I want to say this: there are people that have been involved in grassroots for decades, and they're non-establishment people. They have been grassroots for decades. Grassroots is not just new people that came into the movement. They are people who want the Constitution upheld. They won't take backroom deals. They are protect the Second Amendment. Jesus, guns, and babies. That's who they are.
Right.
And so we don't just automatically think, oh, well, we're new and we're the new Republican Party. No. There are grassroots people who've been here for years that they are the Republican Party, and thank the Lord for them because they've held on to some semblance of we the
Right.
people while these other people were playing games.
Sure.
And we've got to come together and work together. And those people who are establishment politicians, guess what? They're going to be voting for Donald Trump in November.
Yes. They're going to have to. I use this analogy a little bit because you know me, and I'm not a person. I don't have any political motivation or I'm not running for anything. I'm not up here. I'm just up here as a volunteer. But the thing about it is, you're working in the constructs of a established uniparty system. And I think that so many of us grassroots, especially people that have come on because of Donald Trump, because some of us go way, way back, back to, I'm talking about like tinfoil hat rabbit holes, to get to this point. And I think a lot of us, we're all looking at 1,000 different things, and I think we just want to snap our fingers and just wish and pretend, and bam, everything's fixed. When you have to understand that some of our elected officials are working through these establishment constructs, and although we would love to just burn it down, right? You cannot do that. You've got to walk these lines. You've got to do certain things. You've got to maintain some sort of relationships with these people so that you can make a difference while the grassroots is getting stronger and bigger. Am I wrong about that?
No, relationship is where we were created. We were created for relationship. And so you can have a relationship with people without their identity becoming your identity.
Sure.
Because iron sharpens iron. And we should be sharpening them and we should be helping them. It's no different than trying to minister to somebody and hoping they get saved. It's
Right.
so different. And so if we agree 80% of the time we're on the same team, and we need to get the other 20% together, right?
Right.
And so maybe that's when we say, listen, you're we the people, and we don't just bow down to politicians. They're public servants to us.
Right.
You know that I had one of my volunteers is actually laughable. I wonder if she's not a plant, but she made a comment to somebody today that I was a paid operative in Bryan County, that I am taking orders from him. And I thought, are you completely insane? I've not spoken one word to Brian Kemp since before we went on the debate stage. When I raised my voice at him and I told him it was his fault that I had not been in a debate and he was going to regret it.
Hmm.
And I believe he did because I wiped the debate floor with him. And I've not spoken to him since then. I prayed for him to do the right thing and not sell us out to China.
Right.
And I prayed for him to make peace with President Trump because if he's going to be the governor for the next 2 years under President Trump's leadership, we need Georgia and the White House to get along.
We do.
So I hope that happens. But I have not had any contact with him. So that kind of mentality being spread in the grassroots about me,
Hmm.
come on now.
Well,
And my people know that.
it's
But that's what I'm talking about, Roy. That kind of manipulation. It's like poison.
It is. I use the analogy often, because we've tried various groups in our area that have all failed, and it's the school bus theory that I always use. Everybody knows that the school bus is yellow, but everybody sees a different shade of yellow on that bus, and so we get so stuck on fighting over the shade of yellow instead of just saying, "Hey, this school bus is yellow, and we're gonna have to repaint it yellow." You know what I'm saying? So, and that's a problem, and we're all strong, independent thinkers, but it's hard not for a lot of people not to have a knee jerk reaction, and it's hard for people to when they don't hear something that or they hear something they don't like, then it's like they want to cut people off, and they just like we're done, and I try to always keep an open mind, because I don't have. I'm not up here for and against McCoon or to throw anybody on the bus. I mean, if the man wanted to come sit down with me right now, we would talk. I
And
know that
you
you're
love him because he
well,
loves
yeah,
America.
and you're not an operative, obviously, and there's other people that are not operatives and things, but we've got to
Listen,
get
if
past
Josh
all this.
McCoon need to be called out, I'd be the first one to call him out.
Sure.
Okay. I,
I wanted to go to the Floyd County, just be a fly on the wall, just to listen to him and hear him, just so I can process it, because you never know. There's so much coming at us. So, um,
Roy, what he's dealing with, what Josh is dealing with, I wouldn't do it
sure. And
for
he's,
free.
yeah,
I
no,
would not do it.
sure. I get
And
it.
people need to go back and look at his voting record. He was the most conservative senator. He and oh gosh, what's his name? Mike Crane. He's running out for Congress. They were the two most conservative senators when they were in legislation together.
Wow.
And so Josh has a proven track record.
Hmm.
He's not just saying things; he did the thing,
Right.
and he is doing the things now. Do you know what he's focused on? Electing a Republican and paying for the legal fees of our electors, who one of them happens to be a retired school teacher who is terrified and did nothing wrong, with the other two didn't either. But I'm just saying, he had no money
Hmm.
to do a legal defense like this. We're talking about millions of dollars.
Sure. Sure. I've explained a little bit of that on these when they go to court and they've already got I've drawn a loss here. They already have the paperwork already drawn up, a plea bargain. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people that don't understand the court system don't understand what a plea bargain really is. When you walk in and the media creates a narrative that it's a win, when really all it is that it's just a threat. It's like you better sign this or we're going to take away everything that you own and will ever own. And people, they don't want to go up that fight, And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that's how the legal system works. I deal with it. I've dealt with it for 20 plus years. It's
Yeah, you
not.
got law license. So you got City Power with a law license,
Yeah,
but Ellis, who already doesn't like Trump and is selling him out with a
sure,
law license, and so they're scared to lose their law license. And
sure.
so that's why they took a plea deal.
So it's messed up, and I agree. We need to come together, and I think, well, who knows what in this climate? Well, I mean, 2024. I mean, look, we're not even in January, and we're facing a possible civil war in this nation right now. So I know you've got to go here in just a few minutes, but so just can you give us a couple of highlights of how our GOP is? I believe that our GOP is a lot stronger than the perception. So just give us our audience like your take on where we're moving, what we're doing.
So we're really focused on those two things:
Okay.
getting President Trump elected in November and making sure the electors don't go to prison, make sure they're totally exonerated.
Right.
And Colton Moore has helped us tremendously with that, with his exposure of Fannie Willis and him
Yes.
being the front runner there, and now our Georgia Senate coming together and doing this investigative committee, and they're all falling in line and doing the right thing and doing the will of the people and helping the GOP out with that. Because if that would go away, it would free up our resources to help elect Republicans all the way down the ticket, not to take all of our money and put it, on the legal fees, criminal legal fees that it's just throwing money out the window
Right.
because they didn't do anything wrong and you're burning the money. So we're raising money. You see Josh McCoon doing a lot of different events, having a lot of different dinners and raising money. Even last Friday night, we raised 15,000 just for the GOP for the electors. So we're just raising money, trying to cover these legal fees. We see other GOPs in other states that are bankrupt because of
Yeah.
the same exact
Michigan,
thing
right?
for GOPs.
Michigan.
Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania, they're having major issues, and they're seeing their grassroots be attacked just like ours with infiltrators and lies and manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, really, what you're seeing on the executive team is you may have a couple people that are strong brain keepers, and everybody else, we respect him as our governor. Even me, like I respect him as the governor of Georgia. He's in that seat. It doesn't matter to me. My focus is on President Trump
Right.
and getting him elected. My focus is on making sure these electors are exonerated. That's my focus, and that's Chairman McCoon's focus. That's the focus of the GOP. Even the people who are campers, they don't want to see these people go to prison, and they want to see Republican in the White House. And that's our goal. He's made that clear from the very beginning. Anything else is a distraction. Anything else is just chaos,
Right.
and it's the enemy. And so I think that people spreading lies got people paranoid, and it's caused a rift, it's caused broken trust. And when people don't trust, then they are easily triggered and they're easy to believe lies.
Right.
When you already don't trust, you're easy to say, well, you know what? Maybe that was the fact,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's not. Or maybe that was, a slight twist of words, even though it wasn't,
Sure.
because you don't trust. And so, trust is something that's earned. And when people spread lies and they cause problems, then that's broken. And the enemy knows that. Lucifer knows that. And he's playing people like a fiddle. That's what he does. When the devil came down to Georgia, I'm pretty sure his fiddle was working over his head. And so
Right.
people need to remember that.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's good discernment. I really appreciate it because all we seek is the truth, and that is a good focus. I mean, that's what we need to be focused on. While I got you for a couple more minutes, can you just give me your brief thoughts on the curling case? A lot of us are keeping track of it, but we don't have any mainstream media coverage, and there's some huge revelations coming out of it.
I think it was quite interesting that a liberal professor went up there and exposed right then on a little pen on a pad, hey, I broke into the system, right?
Hmm.
It's not online, it's not on the internet. How many times do you hear it on the internet? So we know, and he broke in right then, exposed it all. It was awesome. Do I think it's going to come out some big judgment we want to see? I hope so. I hope
Sure.
the judge is brave and does that. But regardless, we're seeing exposure in a courtroom that we've been wanting to see for
Finally.
years. We're finally seeing it.
Absolutely. So we're actually going to cover that after we get off here with you. We're going to stay on and cover some of this from the Gateway Pundit. And one final thing I want to pick your brain about before I let you go. Texas. Can you let's talk just a minute about Texas, all right? What on earth? This is completely out of left field. A lot of speculation going on. What are your thoughts on Texas right now, the border?
God bless Texas, right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I think that we should send troops down there to help them. I think we should do whatever we need to do. I think that it is a state right, and they should have been securing their border all along. The federal government needs to stay in their lane and get the heck out of our states and let us run our state. You know, we have state rights, we're sovereign, and we don't have governors that take that authority seriously and don't follow the Constitution, and that's why we're in the mess we're in. And so I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Abbott. You know, he's out of the country. I think he might be a globalist. I'm not
Sure.
quite sure. I'm kind of iffy with him, but I am thankful that they are doing everything they can to secure their border, and rightfully so. They should be.
Yeah.
And they should be securing it every county, county by county. If the sheriffs in the county would get all the illegals out and send them back
Hmm.
and not just displace them all over our country, that would be helpful.
Absolutely.
So I'm hoping that a combination of things will be done in Texas and there'll be a strong message sent. I don't think our country can handle going even to mid-January where President Trump is finally inaugurated to get this situated. I think it needs to happen now.
Sure. Sure. It does. It does. Well, listen, I really appreciate the time that you've allotted me on Saturday night. I know you're out of town. I know you're spending it with your family, but we do appreciate it. We appreciate the work that you are doing. We all love and pray for you, and we pray for our GOP and our state of Georgia and our governor and all the Gold Dome. And we especially pray for all of the efforts going on in this legislative session to fix this mess. Okay.
Well, Roy, I want to tell you, I love you. You're a patriot. You're awesome. I love Northwest Georgia. It's my most favorite place outside of Southeast Georgia where I live. And I want to tell everybody listening, the grassroots are running things. We just are the main things. And don't be distracted and don't be deceived. And if someone is negative, 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 and always causing chaos, just stop listening to them. You can love them, you can be friends with them, but shut it off. We
Right.
need to fix problems. We need to find solutions. We don't have time for distraction. We have no choice right now to be laser focused and get President Trump in the White House. And so, if I can help in any way, y'all let me know. And I am on the GOP, and so I'm happy to tell you anything going on there and be totally transparent. And you have my word. If there's shenanigans going on that are against the people, you'll be the first to know out of my mouth.
Awesome. Well, we thank you so much. Please be safe out there, and hopefully we'll see you again up here in North Georgia. Okay.
And I want to get you on my show.
Yes. Anytime. Just let
Everybody
me know.
listening, boys gonna get to come on my show and pick his brain.
Hey, that'll works. I love it. I love it. Anytime. Thank you.
Bye, Roy.
Bye. Well, folks, that was Kandiss Taylor, Dr. Kandiss Taylor, and she was gracious enough to give us her time on this Saturday night. So we are going to crap. I just clicked off the wrong thing. But anyway, I want to just go for a little while longer since I've got some people. First off, thank you, Ray. Good evening to you. Handmade is a miracle to be on YouTube. It actually is. Jonathan Garcia, good to see you. They've been scrambling since 2016 because of the grassroots. Absolutely correct. There's a real fear of losing control. Absolutely. Independence is what they're truly scared of, and they've been a den of vipers. And that, all of that is absolutely correct. It's crazy, as we discussed here, that these people are so afraid of some sort of transparency, some sort of just doing the right thing for the good of the people, honoring the Constitution. Um, I'm talking about, this is insane to me. Absolutely insane that we have, I mean, we have this many dens of vipers going on. So I want to touch on a couple of things, while I got this Saturday evening. And again, thank you for spending the time with me. We do have a lot of guests coming up in the next few weeks. I hope to get Colton. Colton's been real busy, and he wants to come on the show, and so we'll be able to talk a lot about the legislative session that's going on now. And I think the more time that passes, the better, because we'll all be more informed on what's really going on. But I wanted everybody out here, and I know a lot of people in groups know already, but the Gateway Pundit has really done a good job in covering this current curling case. I'm in the middle of trying to read all of this stuff. And as always, I refer everybody, if you're looking at the Hank Sullivan Substacks, there's a lot of good stuff coming out from Georgia Record, different places. The Gateway Pundit has this, and I'm just got it kind of pulled up here. This is part one. Full scope of Dominion ICX hack in federal court is far worse than just the Big Pen hack with transcripts. So all you have to do, what I did is went to the Gateway Pundit, and I went up here to this little search tab and just typed in Halderman. And there's a three-part um, article about this, and I wanted to kind of share because I think this is really important because this is not getting the mainstream attention that well, I mean, come on. We know. If you look at the numbers, you look at the media that's literally falling off the cliff right now. Media companies are shutting down as we speak. We are the next media conglomerates here. What I'm bringing to you is what should be plastered on every mainstream news, cycle everywhere, and they're not talking about this. And they don't want to talk about it. They don't realize they don't, but this is the future, and so it's really we need to go and we need to look at these things. We need to read them and get them in our heads because nobody is going to spoon feed them to us. Okay, now this is part two, full scope um, of Dominion voting machine hack in federal court is far worse. Audit logs can be edited. So that's a part two series here that you can go through and read. And I'm going to go up and pull up the part three, which was released, I guess, this morning at 8 a.m. It says, there's just so much to unpack here, and there's so many good people. I'm trying to talk to people that want to come on, some people that were sitting in the courtroom with, sitting in the courtroom, while this was going on. Halderman was in there. He was able to put the machine in safe mode. While all this was going on, the main defendant of the case, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, was up here doing a local TV show and then going to Dalton where he completely skipped people that were there waiting for the little communication brief. They are running away from people. They are running away from everybody that they can. They don't want to answer questions. They are going to circuit judges to get themselves removed and recused from the cases. I mean, it's big. It's really, really big. And this should be plastered all over the place, and yet it's not, and it's not going to be. So it's up to the grassroots that we share these articles and we get these videos out and we continue to activate. So that is definitely one thing I wanted to discuss. I will post the links wherever I can, I'll post the Gateway Pundit links because that's the most thorough that I've been able to see yet. Okay. Also, let's see how I go about this one. It's just there's so many important things we can talk about. There's some legislation coming out in Georgia. I can't pull it up right now. That has to do with like a program where you register your safes, your gun safes, and you'll get some sort of $300 credit. There's all kinds of weird things going on about that. Let me just explain something to you. Whether this is going to be something that's completely forced or not. Anytime that, especially in this day and age, that the government is wanting you to register something, I can tell you right now, there's probably a nefarious purpose behind it. So you need to be very, very careful. And the funny thing about this legislation is it's just something that's in there that just kind of popped up, and then people started identifying it. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it's very surprising on some of the people that are behind this legislation. I say that because of the movement that we're doing, because of this grassroots, because we are reading these articles about the Gateway Pundit and sharing them, we are not allowing them to control the narrative that they've been able to control for so long. So when I go back to the same thing about you being an activist, what we're doing is we're breaking up all these omnibus bills, and we're looking into the legislation and reading the bills, and we're highlighting all of these things that don't need to be in the bills, that are very suspect or need to be questioned. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that we're able to do this. And Smatterchew says HB 971. Yeah, In fact, we got just a few minutes. Let me pull this up real quick. Um, 971, because I was trying to pull it up earlier, and I'm gonna tell y'all it's a miracle that Candice was on there and it went through as good as it did. Because let's see here. Right here, I'm just gonna read this bill to you. So, summary: the bill to be enacted, entitled to act amend Chapter 7 of Title 48, relating to income taxes, so as to provide for a tax credit for certain eligible expenses incurred for firearms safe handling instructional courses and firearms secure storage devices, to provide for an aggregate annual cap to provide. Well, okay. Let's see. I read this a little bit early. I read this the other day actually, but okay, so going through this just to kind of skip over a little bit for lack of time, it's basically saying they'll give you a $300 either a rebate or some kind of state check if you were to register your gun safes, right? I understand what they're explaining here. I just I understand that this is for like gun safety and all this, but it goes right back to the same thing about an infringement on the Second Amendment. All right, shall not be infringed. Nobody needs to know if you have a gun safe. Nobody needs to know how many gun safes you have. It's nobody's business how you conduct your Second Amendment rights. And anybody that's trying to get you to itemize these things or list these things, we all know how lists go. We all know how they get used, and and I go back to the same thing I've said before. Georgia now is operating in a Georgia Data Analytical Center. So what would stop a data analytical center from uploading this information about, well, there's 3,800 gun safes in this area here, and they can pinpoint it just like you would a Google map. What is to say that that information would not be used nefariously, would not be used for confiscation, would not be used in future red flag laws? You understand? So you have to watch things like this, whether or not they're even talking about force. Now, it usually always starts out as voluntary until it's not voluntary. So I mean, I wasn't even prepared to go into that one tonight, but that one really just irks me, and it irks me because of some of the names on the bill, and because we're constantly we're fighting off Republicans and Democrats from all these things. Shall not be infringed at all whatsoever. So you think twice before you take a $300 scam check to turn anything in. So. Um, let's see. I'm not going to keep you guys for too long tonight. I'm just going to go back through the chats because we've got some good ones here. So, Bailey Terry, thank you for watching. Let me tell you something about me that, because sometimes, I mean, I'm a patriot. And I'm a nice guy, whatever have you. A lot of people that know me around here know that my word is my bond. I'm still one of the old handshake guys where, what blows people's minds, I think, is because some of us don't have any. We don't have a skin in the game. Like, well, I am not up here to run for an office or to get some sort of appointed position. There's no problem with that. We need people to do that. I'm a coward for not doing that thing. But I really want to keep my doors open. So when I talk to Dr. Kandiss Taylor or talk to other people about people, I try to at least keep a bridge of communication open. So you may not agree. We may not always ever agree on who's good, who's bad, this and that and the other. But if we break down the lines of communication, then understanding can only be reached by the confrontation of communication, right? It doesn't mean that we need to fold, and it doesn't mean that we don't need to listen to everybody. I'm not saying that we should give everybody a platform, or we should trust everybody, or we should, you know, I would be I don't know. I had planned on actually being out in public around Raffensperger the other day just so I could ask him a couple of questions, not even for a setup, just to look him in the eye, man to man, and ask him questions. And the good Lord, I was sick, wasn't able to do it, but I don't think I'd want him sitting here next to me talking about all this, and I know he wouldn't do it, but we've got to keep lines of communication open, especially as we gain access and gain power as a grassroots and gain inside this system. You know, the system cannot, we can't just come in bull in a china shop. There has to be, we have to work in these constructs until we can change these constructs. And when you have people like Kandiss Taylor and Colton Moore and going into these constructs and rearranging them and creating new ways and new shapes to work in, that's what it's all about. So we can always agree to disagree, but we have to keep the conversation going. All right, we cannot just cut everything off. You know, Jan, thank you for being here. Lisa, last Friday was epic. Yeah, Lisa Adams, I appreciate all of your hard work and activism. Lisa's really going out there and just giving it all she's got and participating. Also, our prayers go out to Ryan Sewell. A lot of our my viewers know that Ryan Sewell was in the hospital this week. It was released, I believe it was today or yesterday. I can't remember, but within the last 24 hours, Mr. Sewell has been home, and our thank you, the prayer warriors, for everything that you've done, and we wish you a very speedy recovery, Ryan. And can't wait to see you again. Can't wait to be around you and move forward together. So we're glad that you're home, sir. And Smatter Chew, if you guys have not heard of Smatter Chew, thank you so much for coming in tonight, man. Smatter Chew is huge on TikTok, and he's got like several channels, and Lisa, all these people they're working hard on TikTok. Getting a lot of content out there. It's always a pleasure. If there's ever a day that I'm around Smatter Chew, you can bet it's a good day. So thank you for being here, and I appreciate the kind words. Lisa said, I just had someone from Mississippi call me and ask me if the Curling versus Raffers case was real and if Alex Halderman really hacked a machine in the courtroom. You know, that's a perfect comment. That is a perfect comment to delve into. Think about that for a second. We have ongoing litigation in the judicial system in this state that literally saw a person under oath that was able to hack into, with a big pen, a Dominion voting system in front of the judge, in front of everybody. And it's still skeptical at this point. That we are really in a bad situation where we're able to prove these revelations. We're able to show these revelations. We're able to put it out there and in real time do these things, and it's still not even accepted as truth. I mean, we're in a bad way. I tell everybody the same thing. Go back and watch the Kill Chain, the HBO documentary Kill Chain, and it can tell you all that you need to know that was out years before now, that was heavily going to be pushed until they realized that the narrative was flipped around on them. But yeah, this is the world we're living in. We have no representation. We've got no media here that's covering any of this stuff except for us. So I'm glad that you put that out there, because that's a reality, you know. Lisa, you got him. Yes, you did. And let's see. Sponsored by Michelle. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then we covered the HB 971. Hey, Liz McDonald. Let's see. Mama Lather in the house. All right. Yes, I agree. Smattitude shall not be infringed. Gun registration by proxy. Nobody get a gun safe to secure a passport. I don't know if we all remember, dig back in your memory hole, speaking of gun safes, about how the Liberty safes already had the access to all these gun safes anyway on these databases, and these databases were being shared, and then there was a huge backlash about it. And now the Liberty tried to, save face and say, we're going to remove these, and upon request. I mean, nothing you have is sacred anyway. I mean, they've got ways to get into all this stuff. So, gun safe, no gun safe, it doesn't really matter. I mean, but these are the kind of things that are still going on behind the scenes. All of these things are still on databases and tracked, and it's crazy. So Lisa says, exposing corruption one politician at a time. Absolutely. And there's a lot of corruption, a lot of opposition, a lot of provocateurs, and they do not like us being out here, and they don't like us talking. They don't like us getting involved. They would want us to shut up and go to work and go home and crack open a beer and watch these football games and watch, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when we are in a country where we're literally, I would say moments away from a civil war at any point in time, you might need to put that stuff down and then just kind of look in the other direction and say, what is going on in this country? How did we get to this point? So, well, that's what we're going to end with. So I'm going to plan on being on here for about 10 more minutes. So, Smatter Chew, let's see. RD, two sides of the same dirty coin. We'll have to stand for our liberty. Amen. Amen. Ryan Sewell, good to see you, brother. We're so glad that you're here tonight, and we're so glad that you're home, man. We were worried about y'all. A lot of people, you got a lot of people that love you, brother. So thank you for being here. And Smatter Chew, we were robbed, absolutely. And Lisa, her friend in Michigan, sent her the article in Mississippi. She wanted to see if it was accurate. Sure, sure. Here we go. Here we go. Let's get this one by Ray. Thank you so much for hanging, Ray. I'm going to read this, and it's full. This is very important. This is stuff that we're going to be coming up with. I wanted to talk to Kandiss about this as well, but we were constrained on time. And Ray, I know what I told you earlier, but the fact that I'm actually still here and we were able to pull this off was overwhelming to say the least. So it did. I apologize, but here goes, Ray. HB 1009 is assigned to the Public Safety Committee. Jay Collins needs the pressure put on him. He is the chair of that committee. Every Georgia House rep needs to be contacted and questioned about why they are not co-sponsors on this legislation. Ray Martinez is the only rep so far that has signed onto the SEPA proposal. Mark Newton refused. You can call him at 706 799 5664 to express your concern. Ray, I would like to do you one better since we still have some viewers, and I'm sure that our viewers out there wouldn't care at all. Would you care if I were to call you and then we could do our own little segment and catch the people up on this? And I hate to put you on the spot, Ray, but I would love to get you right here on the phone, and we could talk about this and bring this up because it is very, very important. So, just for lack of time, I'm gonna call. If you can't talk right now, Ray, don't pick up the phone, and we'll schedule something. I don't really want to put you on the spot, but good deal. Sounds like you're gonna go through loud and clear, brother. And
Hey, Roy.
hey man, we're just flying by the seat of our pants on this Saturday night. We've got a good little crowd here, and so Ray, I did not get a chance to talk with Kandiss about this. So why don't you bring us up to speed since we're on the subject of this draconian gun legislation that's coming up, bud?
Well, there's all kinds of bad things coming up, but the good thing is what I'm really focused on right now because I could put a nail in a lot of coffins around our area. But right now we're mounting an offensive on HB 1009, which is the SEPA bill.
Yes.
And luckily, we have one lady, Charlize Bird, that come out and took care of this. But I'm really worried about a lot of the other people that have not got on board with her,
Mm-hmm.
and especially around our area. You know, some of our reps that we went to bat for in the last legislative bout there, and even campaigning for them, if you want to call it that. You know, like last time that this was going on, you know, I hit Mitchell Horner up about it.
Okay.
And he said that Charlize was kind of toxic a little bit because she was so, I guess she goes against the grain in the establishment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, that's exactly what we need. We don't need people to get away from her. We need people to mount an offensive with her.
Right.
And so here I am. I'm kind of concerned about some of the people that I went to bat for, you know, whenever I was campaigning for them, because, you know, they said they were for the Second Amendment.
Sure.
So what we have to do, and I'm talking to every patriot that is watching this, what we have to do is we have to contact our state rep. Whoever your state rep is, you need to get in contact with them. You need to get them on record, get them quoting, and whatever you need to do to quote them or whatever. We need that information
Okay.
because we are not going to go down like we did the last time SEPA legislation come up, because now we have seen that a lot of these people are not who they say they are.
Sure.
So we need to get everybody on record, and if they can't post or respond to you on anything that they want to say, then we'll just go ahead and think and say that they're against what is going on.
Sure.
So and you know, I'm so disgusted a lot because of all the stuff that's going on. Because like I said earlier, I went to bat for a lot of these people, and I've knocked on a lot of doors for some of these people and said, "Hey, these are Second Amendment people. You need to vote for these people."
Mm-hmm.
And then if they're not co-sponsoring or at least or sponsoring, SEPA, then what are they there for? Are they really for us?
Well,
I don't think
sure.
so.
Well, explain. Let's explain real quick. I mean, because we want to be transparent. Tell us what SEPA is again. A lot of people still, what is it?
Okay, SEPA is the Second Amendment Preservation Act, and basically what it does is it takes the federal government out of play by using our resources, like our local sheriff's department, even our state resources, the state troopers, even it goes all the way down to your city law enforcement, whoever it may be in that state. So if the federal government wants to come in and seize your firearms, they've got to go through the sheriff's department first to do that. And sometimes they will end up saying, "Hey, we need your help," whatever. But what this
Or
legislation does is it puts a very stiff fine on those law enforcement agencies if they go against that. And it also protects them at the same time, because a lot of your beat cops, they don't want to do
exactly.
this. They don't want to go and knock on somebody's door and take their firearms from
Of
them.
course not.
And I know for a fact that I spoke with Sheriff Sisk about this here in Catoosa County, and he's definitely not for gun seizures.
No,
So
nobody is. Why would local law enforcement want to be pitted against this anyway? Because the federal
sure,
government's lazy anyway. They don't even want to enforce the law. They don't want to send their own. They would love for the local jurisdictions to just take over this kind of thing. This is
yeah, unless
insane.
you're the ATF and they love coming knocking on your door.
Or Fast and Furious. Well, they love that too, don't they?
Yes.
See, this is
So
what kills
that.
me, and I know that I don't mean to interrupt, but
No, you're
people
good.
need to understand what this is, because it's the same thing that they talk about with accountability, and anything that you try to do that's proactive for the people, they spin it out of proportion like it's some crazy thing, and it's a draconian form of power. It gets on my nerves so bad, because that's how simple that SEPA is. And no
Yes.
doubt your frustration, because we can't even get Republicans in line with this. It's absurd.
It's absurd. It sure is. Like I said, there's only, like I posted down there, there's only one person that has co-sponsored this so far.
It's
And
insane.
there's been 4 verbals from my understanding. And then there's been one man that texted GGO yesterday and said that he would. So
Right.
I won't be mentioning names there
Understood.
because right now that's not what I'm going to do. But what I do want to do is I want to encourage your listening audience tonight to call your House representative, because this is where it's all going down. Right now, we need to also put the pressure on it's what I texted there. It's the public safety's office. And
Let's see, Mark Newton.
no, Jay Collins is the one that's the chair over that.
Okay, gotcha.
So he's the one that we need to call to over there and get with him and get with his office
Okay.
and just say, hey, we want this. We need to get this passed through committee so we can get a vote on it. And this is a fight. The safe storage laws and all that other stuff, that's definitely draconian, and we can
That's
see that.
ridiculous.
But we need to defeat that. Yes, I say that, but we also need this win. We need this win worse than we need anything else right now.
I agree, man.
And especially with this administration, we can see where they're going with everything because, if you've noticed, the borders are wide open, people are
Yeah.
coming in. I mean, we need, because I'm worried, and I'm not going off on any conspiracy theory, but I'm just worried, if we have so many people coming in and then they start thinking, well, hey, who's living in this house and who's living in that house? And,
Mhm.
just things go
Well,
crazy.
sure. And then they can
Who
use
are they going to come after?
they can use the Georgia Data Analytical Center and say, well, here's the houses we're looking at. Well, how many safes are in that house? Well,
Sure.
this they've got 2 gun safes in here, and this one's got 1 over
Yeah,
here. Oh, well, we might need to bring extra backup, bring some extra ATF. I mean, think about the
that's right.
implications of all of these things. And to think that
Yes.
Republicans that are supposed to represent the Constitution and the Second Amendment of the United States of America are in this country even pushing these things. There's ulterior motives here, and we can see right through it. Every single
Yes, sir.
person that's doing this should be absolutely ashamed that they're even doing this. Ugh,
Yes. And it's something that you really alluded to tonight. It's a uniparty.
it's a uniparty.
And these people are worried about the establishment. Some of them are worried about, ticking off leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And they forgot who the leadership was. We are the leadership. We, the people, are the leadership.
Exactly.
They are the representatives. And they need to understand that because I'm not going down lightly on this.
No.
This is something that we've been fighting for ever since we started the Second Amendment sanctuaries, because that is exactly what the Second Amendment sanctuary was all about.
Right.
It was about SEPA,
Mm-hmm.
and we started it on that premise, and it wasn't even called SEPA back then.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right. You're right.
But
You're absolutely right.
that was the whole premise of why we started this group,
Yep.
here in Catoosa, and why you started in Walker County,
You're right.
and why Tyler ended up starting it in Whitfield, and Jennifer, in Chattooga, and Ryan and Gordon,
Mm-hmm.
and Chris Bill, even,
Mm-hmm.
where he is and everything. So in Floyd
Sure.
County. So, we all come together on that premise. We're going to have to see this fight
Yeah.
continue till we win this war. And if we don't, then, they're going to say, well, we got another one on them,
Yeah.
So we can't go down, without a fight. We got to continue to fight. We got to continue to stand up. And like I said on your program, whenever I was there the last time, I am putting my friendships aside,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm getting back to my basic activism on where I stand. I mean, if you're not going to be with us, then you are against us.
Absolutely.
And that's how I'm looking at it from now on.
Yeah,
So
and I think it'd
I'm
be a good reminder to, and especially if any of these legislators or politicians are watching, that number one, you need me a whole lot more than I need you. Okay, you need me a whole
That's
lot
right.
more. And number two, some of this stuff, I mean, the vast majority of it, that goes beyond whether I like you or I don't like you. Or in this case, of the stupid gun safe, I don't even know those people. I've never even met them before. But this is beyond that. Like this is stupid. And how can you have some senators and Congress people that are standing up and they can clearly see this and they can explain why? Like, hey, no, I can't support that. But then you have the rest of them going completely lockstep in order, like, not even question it. This is insane.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing is they start pulling at your heartstrings, and they
Sure.
start bringing out statistics about how kids are dying because, there's not, safe storage or whatever. But a lot of this is just being able to teach children. That's one thing that they've taken out of our schools too,
Sure.
is teaching our children about gun safety. Back in
Mm-hmm.
the day, we had gun safety classes that we took,
Mm-hmm.
and we learned to respect firearms.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest thing. And I remember as a kid, just learning those principles, not even from my family, but at school. Some of the best learning that I learned was through the Tennessee Wildlife Agency,
Sure.
whenever I lived in Tennessee. And, they came in, they brought, a couple of their representatives over and taught gun safety to each classroom.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that really needs to happen even more in our society today, because, and I'll tell you this, just a great example of how I taught my kids gun safety. There was like a gopher rat in the backyard, right? And I made them stand at the back door and witness what that rifle would do. I had a little 22 rifle, and I ended up shooting that thing and blew its brains out. You know, it was
Mm-hmm.
all over the sidewalk or whatever. But you know, and I showed them, look, this is what happens when you
Sure.
use this firearm. It kills things. You know,
Absolutely.
and it is a tool, and it is a tool that you can use for self protection, or it can be mishandled and misused. And that's why when you have a firearm with those that are trying to misuse their firearm, you can counteract that. And
Absolutely.
that's what it's all about. But you know, a lot of this goes back to just educating kids on, you know, how they need to handle firearms and things of that nature. It's not about safe storage,
Sure.
you know. And you do
Absolutely.
have to be responsible. There's, you know, there
Of
is
course you
instances
do.
where, and that's the thing about me. I always have my firearm on me, right? It's never out in the open or whatever, where it's out of my sight or nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's just part of us being responsible gun owners as well. That's part
Well,
of that training as well. Because what we learn as children, we're supposed to continue that
mhm.
learning as adults.
Well, I
And
mean, you mentioned statistics. When you start digging into statistics in the first place, what are they trying to do now? They're trying to take away statistics from us, right? Because
oh yeah,
statistics tell more of the truth than anybody can. And they don't like what
well,
they see statistically because
that's right.
it's not the law abiding citizens that is carrying the brunt of these tragedies that are going on every day. And no
No,
gun legislation is going to stop these because it's not a gun problem, it is a people problem.
that's right. It
So,
is. It's a society problem, you know, and
societal.
that's the thing. And you know, a lot of the statistics that you see nowadays, it's even like with, you know, the one that they came out from the CDC about, you know, how many kids have died and whatever.
Hmm.
What they don't tell you is they put 18 and 19-year-olds into that statistic. And you're like, well, you know, when you're well, actually 17 in Georgia, you're an adult.
Hmm.
So, you know, they kind of miscue those, and you know, they put you in a false sense of, oh my goodness, we've got to do something.
Hmm.
Educate your children, you know. And I think that would be the best thing to do. I mean, it helped me. I mean, it worked for me. You
Right.
know, why can't it work for others?
I agree.
So,
I agree. Well, Ray, I appreciate you. I want to give you my word that I will be coordinating with you in the next couple of days so that I can be effective. And I think I will like to add to the call to everybody out there that you need to be digging in now and figuring out what legislator that you need to call and talk to while they're in legislative session and bring up this SAPA legislation and tell them this is not an option. This is what the people want. We do not want federal government overreaching into our state and our local law enforcement. Our law enforcement doesn't want it. The people don't want it, and they can take the $300 check for their gun safe registration, and they can shove it where the sun doesn't shine. Okay, none of this is cool, and none of this is what anybody wants, and all of this has nefarious purposes behind it. Nefarious, however you say it. But no, enough's enough, Ray. And you are one of the greatest gun Second Amendment advocates I've ever worked with. So we thank you for your time, sir.
well, thank you, Roy, for having me on.
Yes, sir.
You
All
have a
right.
blessed evening.
You too, sir. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, folks, you just heard it from Ray Blankenship. I can tell you right now, there's not one person that works harder than Ray Blankenship to secure Second Amendment rights constitutionally and who continues to be the driver to our grassroots movements and keeping us informed. You know, we do have Charlize Byrd who has brought this up. Colton Moore has brought these things up. Our legislators need to understand that there is there is no compromise here. Zero compromise. The Second Amendment, you shall not infringe. Leave it alone. And we don't want. Look at if look this. Here's my argument. If you want federal overreach into your Second Amendment, then look at the federal overreach that's happening in Texas right now, which we're not going to be able to cover, right? Because that is I mean, we're one step away from a civil war in this country right now. States on a division line, and then you hear this God, this can opener Joy Reid. I heard her comments how they refer to slavery and the Civil War and all these negative things, and it's putrid, is what it is. These people are putrid. These people are evil in this world. And to think that our federal government doesn't give a rat's you know what, about protecting our southern border, and we have no idea what's coming across that border. And they are actively working with the cartels, with sex traffickers, with children traffickers all across this nation, busing people in everywhere. The sanctuary cities don't want them. Nobody wants the border to be open like it is, except for the Biden administration, the federal government. And here we are with a convoys of truckers that are going down to the border right now, that's trying to protect it along with our National Guard, while our president and his administration sits back and threatens federalization of our National Guard. This is insane, and we've not even made it out of January, folks. Make zero mistake. Make no mistake. 2024 is going to be the battle of your life. Now, I'm sick and tired of tiptoeing around it. I'm telling you now. Prove to me, anybody out there, you can call me the biggest conspiracy theory that you want. Prove to me, show me that we will actually have an election in November, that we will not be in some sort of martial law, that we will not be in some kind of world escalation, God forbid country escalation, that they will even allow an election to happen, okay? That's where I stand on this right now. Yes, I'm going to continue for paper, please. Yes, we will continue to fight for grassroots. We're going to continue to fight against these draconian practices and these legislators part of the uniparty establishment. We're going to continue to primary these people who caucused our state senator over these things. We are not going to stop and give up. We will get more unified in the grassroots. We are learning discernment, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you think that they're going to let Donald Trump walk right into that White House, you are sadly mistaken. They are going to create a diversion. They did it in 2016 after Donald Trump, after they woke up the next morning, they dropped their Wheaties in the floor because Hillary Clinton was not elected president. Then they went all the way through Event 201, created the worldwide pandemic of COVID, and look where we're at now. 2020 was a complete sham. 2022 was even worse because their algorithms got better and they realized that they had to give a little to receive a little. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're in 2024, we're in January, and who saw this coming from the border of Texas? This is insane. And if you think that it's bad now, all I'm telling you all to do is prepare, prepare, prepare. Because we can't even get our own state legislators onto a federalization bill that keeps the federal government away from the Second Amendment. How sad and pathetic is that? While you're out here talking about God knows what, you have legislators who will not get behind a SEPA legislation. You heard how simple that the SEPA legislation was. It keeps federal government out. It puts the burden on federal government. It keeps your local sheriffs, your local municipalities out of the situation. They won't even sign on to this. I agree. We need to put the pressure on them. I'm sorry. I don't need to get this worked up, but this is insane, you know. I can tell you, I've been inundated. Well, a lot of us have been inundated, and we've got chat groups, we've got people, and I'm going to tell you, you know, when you're typing a message or you're on Facebook making a comment, you know, none of that stuff is very reflective of you, you know. And it doesn't translate well. And you might have the best of intentions, and you're going to piss somebody off, you know. But we've been down the ringer this week with drama and all kinds of things going on, and it's almost like you've got to be pitted, okay? If you say something nice about this one person, you're going to make a whole lot of other people mad. And if you don't agree 100% with this person, then you're going to make the other people mad. And I say let the chips fall where they may. I believe that we've gotten a little bit of discernment on the show tonight. We know that we've got to get Donald Trump elected in the state of Georgia. We know that the current legislation our legislators need to feel the pressure from the people, right? You can't rely just on me or Kandiss Taylor or Ray Blankenship. You have got to do some homework and find your legislation and make a phone call. I've done this live on air. I might do it again. We must put the pressure on these people. They need to hear from you, okay? They need to understand, just like Ray said, there's a line in the sand. It doesn't matter if I like you or dislike you. There's no reason not to get behind some of this legislation. There's no reason not to support SEPA. For as simple as a thing that it does, there's no reason not to support it, okay? If you're, there's no valid excuse. So that's what we need to do. So we're focused. We're focused on electing Donald Trump. We're focused on getting behind our GOP, whether we love them, whether we hate them, and they need to make sure that they protect the electors in the state. They fight this dark money, this George Soros, BlackRock, WEF money, and we protect our people through this because we must get a Trump elected, right? And on top of that, folks, we need to have full exposure of the curling case as much as we can. We should be sharing every bit of this as far and wide as we possibly can, because guess what? You saw the comment earlier. We've got people in Michigan that's texting these articles over to Mississippi, and people in Mississippi saying, hey, is this even true? This is where we're at. We've got to take control of this narrative because it's important. The guy was able to go in with a big pen and put it in safe mode and change the votes. They're able to edit these rolls. They know they cannot get away with what they've done in 24. They know it. You understand? They're feeling they're feeling the pressure there. All right? But we've got to get this word out. All right? I don't know where we're going to end up with Dominion voting systems in this state. If you wanted me to put money on it right now, and I'm just going to say it, you want me to put money on it right now? My money is we'll be voting on Dominion systems in November. Okay? That's where my money's at. Do I want it to be there? Absolutely not. But I don't think that we're going to be able to fight this establishment machine hard enough, even with this case, that they're going to drop Dominion. Okay? So that being said, we've got to become poll watchers. We've got to become poll workers. We've got to get everybody off their lazy tookuses, and we have to go to the polls, and we have to overwhelm the system. We have to vote, vote, vote like our life depended on it. That's what we have to do. And assuming that we will be able to do it, we have to continue to keep hope alive. That's all we have is hope, y'all. And as we move forward together, we build the grassroots up. We continue to primary these people and let them know that we mean business and we want them out of the way so that we can bring in people that want transparency, that want truth, and they want liberty for we the people. We don't want your dark money. We don't want your bull crap. We don't want your country club semantics. We want to right the wrongs and fix this state and get the evil out of here. I don't know how much plainer I can say it, man. The people that argue against what we're talking about here are people that are working in the shadows, man. They're people that are working behind the scenes that secretly do not want to fix anything. They want their place at the table. That's what they want. They don't give a crap about you and me and anybody else as long as they're being taken care of, as long as the bread is being split with them. Go back to Kari Lake. Go back to the Arizona GOP chair. I mean, how sick is that? And thank the Lord that Kari Lake recorded it. If you haven't recorded it, go back and look. Go back and listen to it. Listen to him tell her, threaten her, say that, well, yeah, you might be killed. I mean, you know, if the news articles are correct, the cartels in all 50 states, literally saying that to her, telling her that she should give up and back aside for a couple years and let the establishment put in who the hell they want to, and they will pay her whatever top dollar that she will take or give her some cushy job somewhere. And there you have it. And you think that just happened in Arizona like it's not happening here in Georgia, it's not happening here in Florida and every other freaking state in the union? This is insane, and it's being exposed. Glory be to God that this is being exposed. And I'm telling you people what, if you don't think that we're not making a difference, you go soak your head, because it's people like us that are out here that are pushing these people, and they are making sure that our voices are being heard. And this is why these evil atrocities are being brought to light, because everything gets brought to light. Okay? I'm about to get off my high horse, but I'm telling you, man, this week is just, we're not even out of January yet, folks. Okay? Yes, Terry Bailey. Boots on the ground. We've got to have more people getting active. All right? Because I'm telling you right now, the people that don't want anything that we want, they don't want truth, justice, transparency, they are actively working right now. They're actively getting paid right now to work against you and work against everything that you're doing. Everything that you're doing. Okay? And they're in your town. They're down your streets. Okay? And they are actively creating groups and dispelling lies and doing all of these things when we should be focused on exactly what our mission is. Because in the end, man, that's what it's all about. And I'll tell you right now, I don't seek money. I don't seek prestige. I don't seek power. I want to work with people who want to make our communities a better place. That's where my heart is the community a better place. I don't want my town becoming Chicago. I don't want my town becoming the border. I want people to grow up, nuclear family. I want everybody here to be able to read, write, arithmetic, and think for themselves. I want people to be able to critically think. I want people to be able to talk about chemtrails on a park bench out here 2 blocks away on a sunny day and just sit there and talk about it. I don't want to shut anybody up. I don't want anybody to rights to be taken away. That's what I'm here fighting for, and that's what we all need to do. So you need to do your part. I will be arranging some things with Ray that we can start pushing this SEPA. We're going to have Colton Moore on the show very soon, as well as several others. We'll be interviewing the commissioner from Chattooga County who's running for re-election. There's some people that have reached out to me about several things. I'll just go down the list with you. And I want more people, man. I want more people. This is what it's all about. Let's see here. Let me look where it's at here. Anyway, we got people coming up now, y'all. Several people have reached out to me, so I expect that we're going to be doing more things in the near future, some more activism. We're going to be helping some people with some campaign stuff, and there's several patriots that are trying to start up things. I am going to go ahead and do a Patreon. A lot of people have been asking me about it. Yeah, well, I'm going to do my part. You know, hey, if you want to, I don't even have it ready yet, and I could care less, but that'll be one way that you can help support me. But thank you for spending your Saturday night with me. I went on way too long, but this is important, and you guys got me fired up because I am so sick and tired of the BS, man. Like, get over yourself, get over your whatever hangups you got, and get some skin in the game, man. Now is the time. We have the legislative session right now by the hands. We've got our people, our legislators are looking at us. They're watching this stuff. They are out there. They are scared. We need to let them know that they need to be scared, that there's no reason not to be in support of SEPA. There's no reason that you should even support a stupid gun safe registry, you know, among several other things. So anyway, I'm getting off of here. Happy Saturday night. It's good to be back. We'll be back normally on Wednesday, and then I'll have some coming up in between. I am severely shadow banned. Real quick, it's funny. I'm getting likes from stuff that I posted back like December 18th, which is absolutely insane. Like, I can't believe that's still even in the algorithm. But I'm going to read some of these comments real quick. You guys are just on fire tonight. So Jennifer Hilligus, it's great to see you tonight. It's happening everywhere and worse. I'm sure people are threatened all the time. There was something fishy about SOS Brad's son's death. You go back to the Hank Sullivan Substacks. I mean, they lay it out. Man, it's some great reading. I mean, it's just food for thought. Even if you don't buy into the conspiracy behind it, you need to understand the history of some of these things, right? Jennifer, watch Governor Abbott. He is not as he appears. Absolutely. Marta Evora, thank you for being here. Again, Smattertu, you're awesome, my brother. Jennifer, if you know a trucker at the border, donate directly to them. Do not donate to any other organizations. Remember, Black Lives Matter was used to gain donations for the Dems. That's another. There's a. I can't. Jennifer, I wish I could remember. There's a something that you can sign up for that the state of Texas is actually pushing, where if you're a civilian, you can file for this and they'll give you like $55 a day or something and some kind of room and board if you want to come and help. I wasn't able to get the information before the show, but there's all kinds of ways that you can help out there. So we've got to keep a close eye on that, folks. That could be devastating to America right now. So you need to get to know Greg Gibson from Debbie Weathersby. All right, thank you. I'll check him out. Ray, thanks goes out to all those that use their own time and money to push for change. Keep up the fight. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Lisa, always a pleasure. State election board meeting will be virtual next month. Of course it'll be virtual next month, right? I mean, they don't want people in there. They don't want people in there. I mean, look what they did at the last board of election meetings at first of this month. Just insane. They don't want people questioned. They don't want their ethos questioned. Don't get me started. Every time that you get some sort of board of election meeting going, what's the first thing they do? They cancel it for some unforeseen reason, try to reschedule. They just reschedule because they don't want you in there. They don't want you asking questions. They don't want you poking around, and they damn sure don't want to admit that somebody took a big pen and they were able to put a machine in safe mode. Jennifer, the truckers' convoy at the border is a real-life example of we the people exercising our right to secure our borders. That is the constitutional militia, contrary of what the left wants you to believe it is. Peaceful, and it's peaceful example of constitutional militia. 100%. My prayer is it stays peaceful, right? We do not, despite what people think. We do not want violence. We do not want the destruction of this nation. Nobody does. We are fighting for transparency, the rule of law. We do not want these things. But be careful because we can be gaslit into insurrections, right? Thank you, sir. Stephen Rice, good to have you this evening. Maybe I should just let it loose every now and then, right? Lisa, they're worried. New people in the board. We made them nervous. Of course you made them nervous. Lisa Adams was simply sitting out with a group of people in Dalton, Georgia, the other day in this big room that was set up for like a press release, right? Just so Brad Raffensperger could come through. You know, Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State. What has he got to hide? What has the man got to hide? He just went on and told him that we just won awards for our elections. Georgia's got the best election, the second best election system in the entire United States of America. Yet there's all kinds of legislation that's being sent through committee right now in this session to beef it up, right? We already have the best, but we're still continuing to beef it up. Wrap your mind around that one, Brad. And but they were just sitting there in a room. All they wanted to do was they wanted to talk to the man. They want to ask him some questions. You know, nobody was going to come up and punch him in the face, or nobody was going to put a pie in the face like Bill Gates. They were just going to talk to him. He goes into another room, locks himself in there with God knows what media, and then he makes a beeline right out of the room and won't even look at these people. Sounds to me like you got something to hide there, brother. Sounds to me like you can't handle a couple of questions from a couple of people. Of course the Board of Elections don't want to have any questions. These people, lies, corruption, evil across the board. You want to fix it, Brad Raffensperger? You start a press release now and you come clean. You come clean about the 2020 election and Dominion voting systems and all of these things that you guys are hiding. You come clean about every bit of it. That's the only road to salvation, sir. That is the only road to salvation. You come clean because we know the jig is up, man. You're not hiding a thing from us. Whew. All right, I gotta calm down, y'all. Oh man, yeah. Lisa Adams is the GOAT. Yep. Derek Johnson, Country, reach out to Derek as well. Thank you. I'd love to reach out. I always want to talk to people. Jennifer, he has to keep telling the lies about the machines. It's the oldest play in the book. Keep lying until it becomes the truth. Well said. If that lie he tells about our elections being secure really become the truth, we would all be better. Amen to that. Amen to that. So, all right. Yeah, watch Lee. It's a light up Chuck Payne's butt in person. I tell you, it's been fun. All right, I'm getting off here. Make sure to like and share. I wasn't able to share the show out anywhere tonight because of my just fingers crossed that I could get Kandiss on as easy as we did. So if you'll help me share, if you will tell your friends about me, tell them to like, subscribe, that we're on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Telegram. You know, I try to get all this stuff out there, but I need help in sharing and just getting it out there, man. It's free to go. And we'll be back Wednesday. And you guys, I love you. And my prayers, stay safe.